The question is it going to be a good quality product? But so far,
is a reverse light. That's the only one that's going to have 12 volts. It can be HD or full HD.
In this video, we're looking at a direct replacement for a rear view mirror. This rear view mirror claims to have a dash cam built into the mirror. It also comes with a reversing camera. And in the mirror itself, there is a monitor, which is where you see the reversing camera picture. But in this video, we're going to see what the installation is like, what the build quality of the product is like, and also what the performance of the product is like. If you're a subscriber to the channel already, thank you very much for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber and you like this type of video, please subscribe to the channel. Okay, so this is the box that the mirror comes in. We'll just do a quick unboxing so you can see what comes in the parcel. Bracket number one. This product comes with brackets, specific brackets for, it seems like, every car on the road. So you just need to select the bracket that you need when you order. This specific seller asked for a photo of the clamp, the bracket that's on the car's existing rear view mirror. There should be, with regards to mounting the mirror, there should be no modifications required to the car. It should be a direct fit. Literally pull off your, slide off your original rear view mirror and put this on, and that's the mirror. So, like I said, this is the box that it comes in. Seems very good quality. It comes with instructions. These are the instructions, guys. If you want to go through it yourself, I'll just put it here. You can pause the video. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the installation. I'm curious about this. So it comes with a cable which goes through battery 12 volts, and it needs an accessory 12 volts to switch on and off. It also needs a ground connection, and then the reverse camera also needs power. Only, it seems, this, and I suppose the bottom black line is going to be the signal for the picture. So that's the instructions. Seems very nicely packaged, to be honest with you. I've seen much worse packaging than this, that is for sure. So this is the reversing camera. There's no option on the reversing camera, you just got to take what they give you. This is the picture that was in, this is the camera that was in the picture of the listing though. Seems to come with plenty of cable, so there should be no problems running this to the rear. It's got some screws, these are the connectors. Let's just take it out of the bubble wrap. The plastic on the outside, honestly, it just seems the same as the factory mirror in the car. The button seems quite positive. The buttons seem very good, to be honest with you. It seems to be a tinted mirror also. It's very wide. I suppose it's going to be a little bit wider than the factory mirror. This is the vehicle specific clamp. So this is what you send a photo of the clamp on your original mirror, and then they supply the mirror with the clamp that you need. Again, so there's no modifications needed to fit it to the car. And then we see we've got a ball function on the camera then, so we can line it up. Yeah, so the clamp is stiff, and I've got to be honest, the quality of this clamp seems to be better than the car's original mirror. The car's original mirror was not that great, to be fair. The question is it going to be a good quality product? But so far, I'm very happy. What else do we get in the box? We've got more cables. So this is going to be the accessory that we've just covered. It even comes with a fuse, which is nice for the battery. It comes with the signal cable, ground. It comes with 2 fuses, which is also very good. One for the accessory and one for the battery, which is very nice. It comes with a bracket here, which I've got no idea what that is for at the moment. And that's it. So that's the product so far, guys. Now let's go and have a look at installing the product inside the car.
Okay guys, so this is the car. Apologies in advance, I know the car is filthy dirty. In a perfect world, we'd run the cables. There'd be a switch live up here, and I'd run it under the roof liner. But I don't think there's going to be a switch live in there. But nevertheless, we're going to check the connections here to see if there is a switch live. Before we get into that, let's just see if the mirror is correct. It is. I just want to check that if there's a switch live in here. So we're just going to remove this light fitting, and we're going to check the cables inside to see if there's a switch live in there. Actually guys, scratch that. The easy way to check if it's switched live or not is to see if all the lights work with the ignition off, and they do. So we don't have a switch live in here, so we're gonna have to abandon this running underneath the roof liner. We're gonna have to come down inside this pillar and then up along the under the plastic sill covers here into the boot. A much bigger job than doing that, but nevertheless this is what we've got to do. So okay guys, so we decided to go down the passenger side. If you're wondering how to remove the trim panels in your car, I'd recommend getting a Haynes manual. In my experience, they're fantastic. I know some people want to say that they're not good, but in my experience, the Haynes manuals are fantastic. So if you want to know where the clips are behind the trim panels, so you know where to pull them off, I recommend the Haynes manual. Like I said, that'll show you where the A-pillar covers are, where the clips are. It'll show where the cover is for the side of the dashboard. It'll show you how to take your glove box out so you can get to the cables behind it, how to get into the stereo, etc, etc. Or alternatively, maybe on a forum someone's posted pictures, if you're lucky, of your car and how to remove the trim panels. With regards to finding the power from your stereo, on most stereos there's like two ISO connectors. One is going to be the speakers, so that's going to have, you know, a minimum of 8 cables going into it, and the other is going to be the power block, which is usually slightly smaller, and that's going to have, like, you know, between 4 and 6 power cables in the back of it. So the process, if you're using a multimeter, the process to find the full time live and the switch live is the same as what I did with the reverse light. Basically put one probe from the multimeter on a known good earth on the car's chassis, and put the other probe from the multimeter in each terminal with the ignition off, and see which one is the positive. There should only be one 12 volt live with the engine off, with the ignition off. And then once you found that, switch on the ignition and see which one is now live. Obviously you're going to have the permanent 12 volt that's still going to be on, and there should be an extra one now, and that's going to be your switched live. So that's how you find the connectors there. With regards to taking the trim panels off, I mean, you could use screwdrivers if you wanted to, but I don't recommend it. They can very easily damage the plastics on the trim. You can get specialist trim removal tools, as always, eBay. If you put trim removal tool in there, I'm sure it's going to bring up a load of listings there. Basically, you want the plastic ones that look like a lever. They look basically like a miniature plastic crowbar. Those things, in my experience, they're excellent. They take off the trim much easier than a screwdriver. Plus, they're made of plastic, and there's much less chance of damaging the trim. Just because it's easier to run the cables through the glove box and into the back of the stereo. The switch live and the live that we're going to be used are going to be the same ones used for the stereo. I'm going to be doing the wiring for the stereo last, so I'll just get this job over first, and then we can start dealing with this side. So hopefully, if you can see here through the gap, this is just pulling the front of the liner down a little bit. Be very careful with these guys because they will crack. It is a fabric, but it does crack. So we're just going to run it in through here where the fingers are, and then just pull it out to here. I'm pretty sure this is not going to come out on camera, but I've routed the cable in, and now I've got the connector out, so you can just see it's running in here. Now I just need to do the same thing with this. Okay, so that's the cable in. The cable's going to come down from the windscreen like so. This one is going to be tucked in around the front of the pillar, and then we're going to route it down the side. But just need to connect these two together now. You can only connect them one way. There's a groove on the top. Once we've done that, we're finished with this. We can put the light back in, and you know, it's all done. So that's the cable tucked in. Literally, it's just on the inside of the headliner here. I brought it up around here, and I'm just going to bring it around this corner. I do that with the bottom one, and then we'll run it down inside the dash. We'll take the glove box out. So I've just routed the cables for the camera through there as well. I suppose if I was going to do this again, guys, I'd probably do this wiring first and then pull all the wiring out this way. Maybe that would have been the better. Okay, so this part of the installation is complete. The next step is the camera cable is going to connect into this cable here. So the next step is to run the cables up the inside of the car, underneath the plastics, into the boot, under the carpet, up under the plastic here. Depending on your car, you may not have to remove these. On this particular car, I can just lift this plastic up a little bit and then just tuck the wire underneath. Guys, if you're going to do this properly, you're going to go into this. You're going to remove these. You're going to feed the cable inside the rubbers into the boot and do it like that. I'm going to do a quick job. Okay guys, so this is the rubber surround on the boot. This, if you can see that, the bottom one here is where the metal goes in, but we've also got another one. We've got another groove here, and this is where what we're going to feed the cables into. Okay, so now I'm going to remove this just so I can see where we're going to mount the camera. This video we're just going to use the supplied sticky pad to attach the camera to the car. This is the reversing cable. This gives power to the camera when it's in reverse, so we're going to need to tap into the reversing power of the tail lamp. So we're just going to check which cable is the reversing lamp as well, and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so now we need to find out which of these cables is the reverse live. Last one, that probably wasn't coming out there, guys. Basically, just go through each of these with one side of the multimeter grounded. Just put the positive in each of the pins to see which one is active. Because the only light in this cluster that's going to be on at the moment is the brake light, is the reverse light. That's the only one that's going to have 12 volts. So to tap into this cable, we separated it out now, the green and the orange. And to tap into it, we're going to use something called a Postiap. I'm going to put a link to in the video description to see how to use these, but this is what I'm going to do to tap into this. I don't need any tools. Okay, final step guys, wiring the power in. So these fuses, they're a nice idea, but we're not going to use them. So we're going to cut them off and we're going to use these inline fuses instead. Postiap done. And for the earth, we're just going to use one of these bolts here because I've been testing them to find out which is the live and which is the positive. So I'm just going to unscrew this bolt a little bit, put this on and use that as the earth, nice and easy. Fuses that they supply this unit with, they look like 15 amp fuses. They're blue and the metal in them is very thick. I don't see any reason why you would need a 15 amp fuse on this. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm sure I'm going to find out, but I've changed these fuses to 5 amp. I think that is more than enough given the size of the cables that the power cables on the unit. So and basically guys, that is the installation done. Okay guys, so first impressions of the mirror, it's very good. It's tinted. I don't think that's going to be an issue. The picture seems to be very good. So I'll just go through the menus that you get with the mirror, the options. So when you switch the ignition off, switch the ignition on, you just get this little screensaver. It shows you what the camera, what it's recording. So it's the front and the rear camera here, you can see. So it's when you switch the ignition on, it starts recording automatically. So to go in the menu, first we need to stop it recording. There's 4 buttons underneath here. We're going to click the left one, which is select. This stops it from recording. Hold down the menu button, which is the right one, and then we get our options. So resolution, this can be HD or full HD. Camera resolution, you've got a variety of what can you say, resolution for the camera. So expect this is for pictures. I'm not exactly sure what that's for, but I've just put it on the maximum, which is 8M, I suppose, megapixels. We've got the cyclic record options. So we've got off, which is just, it'll just record into one big file, and it only makes a new file when you switch the ignition off. Or you can select 1, 2 or 3 minutes. Personally, I'd like something at 5 minutes, but 3 minutes is the longest it's got, so that's what I've chosen. Next one is white balance. Got a load of options here. So you've got auto, daylight, cloudy, tungsten, fluorescent. Personally, I've been using auto. I'm not too impressed with the results, so I'm just going to try daylight for a while and see what that's like. Next, we've got exposure. You can set this from -3 to +3. I'm using -2. We've got motion detection. Honestly, I don't know why you would use that. Recording of the voice. The microphone in it is not very good. Everything is quite badly muffled, but I suppose it would pick up like a loud sounds, so I've switched that on. Why not? Parking guard, again, I've got no idea what that is. Reversing line. So when you put the car in reverse, it shows the lines. Let me just illustrate that for you. Let me come out of the menu. That's reverse, and these are the lines here at the bottom. I've got the rear camera pointing straight down because I need to see where the car is behind to the centimeter. So this is what works for me. I don't need these lines. So if we just knock it out of reverse, it'll go back to the normal front-facing camera. Honestly, the delay between the selecting reverse and for it going into the reverse camera is very low. It's not an issue for me, and I'm quite impatient. Going back into the menu. So I said we've got the reversing lines on. I'm going to switch them off because I don't need them. Date stamp if you want the date and the time showing on your recordings. Gravity sensing, so it will. Gravity sensing is a G sensor basically. If it detects a big knock, or well, low, medium and high sensitivity, the options you've got here. I've got it set to low, so whenever it feels a big knock, it will save the file and make it it won't overwrite that file in the cyclic recording after, so it sort of marks that file as a separate one if there's a big jolt when it's recording. Beep sound obviously is the beep as you select the different options. Enhanced night vision, don't know what that is, I've selected it anyway because it sounds good. Date and time, this is where you set the date and time, so you just go in, select up and down for each one, and then just go around the whole menu until you're finished. Takes you back here. Auto power off, I've just got it switching off with the ignition, so it's on all the time basically. When the ignition is on, the camera's recording, but I think you've got the option to set it like 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Again, I'm not sure what you would use that for. Then we've got the language, so it's got English, Russian, well, we can go into it, let's have a look. So we've got some sort of Chinese at the top. I think it's got Chinese or Japanese maybe at the top. Then it's got English, Deutsch, German, some other Japanese, Chinese, Russian, Arabic, I think. So those are your language options. Let me just make sure I select English when I go out of this. Then we've got the frequency of the video recording, so I set it at 50 Hertz. You can set it at 60 if you want. I selected at 50 so I get a bit more capacity on the memory card. Then we've got LCD brightness. This has got nothing to do with brightness, it just says how long the display stays on. So after 10 seconds of inactivity, the monitor switches off like so. So you can have this on for, well, you can switch it off so it never switches off. 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, 3 minutes. I've got it set at 10 seconds, I mean, why not? Then we've got the format the SD card, restore it to default settings, the software version, and that's it. Those are your menus that you've got. So this is some footage of us driving around. This is what you get basically. This is a cloudy day. So you can get an idea of what the internal microphone is like on the mirror. Like I said, this is a cloudy day. This is obviously at night, clear night. Make your own judgment on how good the quality is of the picture. You can see I've pointed it down the camera because I think it's important that the road is at the center of the camera. This is in a darker area. If the camera's pointing in the sky, then it's going to throw the exposure off, so I've got it pointing, you know, at the road in front of the car. This is a very dark area here. Minimal street lighting. And the whole time the reversing camera is also recording, so depending on where you've got that pointed, maybe that's something useful.
or not.
The alignment is by no means perfect, but for what I want it for, I just...
So this is the reversing camera. It's perfectly acceptable, the reversing camera. And this is just what it records, you know, as you drive along. If you're interested, obviously this is just pointing directly down at the ground. But the rear camera is surprisingly good. It's obviously going to get dirty, but what can you do? It's at the back of the car. So all in all, I'd say the picture of it is, well, like I said, you can see the picture, you can make your own judgments of how good it is or how bad it is. But I think for what it is, it's $60. It comes with a reversing camera, a front-facing camera, the rear view mirror, and a TV display. I don't think you can argue for $60. You know, if you want better quality, there are dash cams that are specific cameras for the job, not incorporated into a mirror. So the picture on them, I suppose, is going to be better. The sound maybe is going to be better. But as like an OEM type solution, i.e. you got nothing extra on the dashboard. There's nothing on the dashboard, nothing attached to the glass. There's nothing on the dashboard. It's just the mirror, and all the wires are hidden. And for what it is, I think it's you know, for $60, it's definitely worth it. And you know, it lived up to my expectations. So would I recommend it? Yeah, for $60, you know, this is what the picture is like. Arguably, the front-facing picture is the most important thing. So for me, I think it does the job just about. By no means is the quality good enough for you to use it as an actual camera, but as a dash cam, I think it's acceptable. The mirror itself is, you know, it seems very good quality. The clamp that where it attaches to the windscreen seems very solid. The mirror itself seems solidly built, easily as good as the original Ford mirror. What else to say? And the glass in it, although it is tinted, it is tinted dark, the mirror glass. Maybe they do that to hide the monitor that's inside the camera, but whatever the case may be, generally the mirror seems alright as well. So even as a replacement mirror for $60, I think it's, you know, so far anyway, it seems good value for me. The installation was decent, plenty of cable included in it. The only issue I had was with the fuses supplied. Personally, I wouldn't use them. They seemed excessively large fuses for what they were, considering the size of the cable as well. But apart from that, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. As always, guys, that's the video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please subscribe to the channel, vote on the video, and I'll see you again next time.